old dude is not alive. Like, share, subscribe. It is the mind of Mr. Nagazilla. 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 Nagazilla.
What's fascinating is the Zionists have run an information operation against the West to convince us to hate Christians. However, if you look at the Muslim theology and you ask a Muslim imam, who is Jesus? They respect Jesus as a prophet. They respect him as a prophet of God.
Right.
And Mary, the mother of Jesus, she is venerated as a holy woman. You ask the religious Jews, who is Jesus? He's a nobody. He's a nothing. And Mary, she's a whore.
That's what they say, yeah.
So, you know, and yet the Christian Zionists side with that crowd? I don't get it.
Welcome to today's interview here on brightvideos.com. I'm Mike Adams, and we are joined by a returning guest, although we haven't spoken with him for a while. It's Larry Johnson, a former CIA analyst, and he worked with the counterterrorism group there at the CIA. And boy, has he been busy. He's been doing a lot of interviews and giving a lot of analysis of world events right now. He joins us today, and his main website is sonar21.com. We'll bring you back to that in a little bit, but welcome, Larry Johnson. It's an honor, sir, to have you on the show today.
Thank you for the invite. Happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you for being here. And again, I don't know how you do it, because I see you on everybody's show. Are you doing like 10 interviews a day, or what are you doing?
It's between, I'd say 5 and 7 a day. It's been pretty busy.
Well,
this is so much better, though. You know, back 20 years ago when I was a TV talking head, the problem was always they'd send a limo. So I lived in Bethesda, Maryland. The limo would show up, and whether you're going to CNN or Fox News or ABC, you always had to go to downtown DC. So that was usually a good 45-minute trip, even though I'm only like 8 miles away. but
yeah.
The traffic was such that you got delayed, and then you'd go in, you'd sit in the green room, they'd put makeup on you, then you'd go sit in front of a camera and talk for 5 minutes. And then you'd go out, take off the makeup, and just repeat the process in reverse. You'd spend 2 hours to do just one interview.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're getting
this is much
more traction
much better.
now. Yeah, absolutely.
This is much better.
All right. So I saw a video from Netanyahu, allegedly, who said that no matter what Trump does and no matter what negotiations or agreements might happen, Israel's going to keep bombing Iran nonetheless. Doesn't that say to all of us that Trump is not in charge at all of what's happening?
Yes, to an extent. Now, it'll be up to Trump at that point, if Israel tries to do that, to pull the plug on Israel. Financial aid, military aid. If without us, they can't continue doing that. So, it's one thing for Netanyahu to talk tough. But there are some circulating today, so that J.D. Vance got into a shouting match with Netanyahu yesterday over the fact that those Zionist thugs, the settlers, are killing Palestinians, Christians, Palestinian Christians.
Yes,
are being murdered by these thugs.
Well, I mean, they murder equally. I mean, they murder everybody who's in the way of their greater Israel project.
Yeah.
And then now they're claiming victim status. Have you seen all the videos now coming out of all the the missile damage in Tel Aviv, and all of a sudden they're complaining about civilians being hurt?
Yeah. Yeah, when they've got a body count of 70,000 Palestinians in Gaza.
Exactly.
You know, what's fascinating is when the Zionists have run information operation against the West to convince us that Muslims hate Christians. However, if you look at the Muslim theology and you ask a Muslim imam, who is Jesus? They respect Jesus as a prophet. They don't accept the Christian view that he is the Messiah, but they respect him as a prophet of God.
Right.
And Mary, the mother of Jesus, she is venerated as a holy woman. You ask the religious Jews, who is Jesus? He's a nobody. He's a nothing. And Mary, she's a whore.
That's what they say. Yeah.
So, you know, and yet the Christian Zionists side with that crowd? I don't get it.
No,
really
it makes no rational sense at all. But I guess that leads to the bigger question is Netanyahu and the Zionist regime, let's just call it the Epstein regime, are they trying to destroy the world in order to fulfill their biblical prophecy, Armageddon accelerationism or something? Is that what's going on?
Well, there is definitely within that extreme Zionist group, those who... Now, the real definition of Zionism, because this applies to Bibi Netanyahu, who says, there is no God, but God gave us this land. And you're going, what?
Right.
Either you believe in the scriptural foundation of it that you claim to believe in, which provides your entire justification for what you're doing.
Knock it off,
And
YouTube.
if you don't believe in that, then how can you profess that that's your reason for being? It's completely illogical. Doesn't make sense.
But it's important for all of us to recognize that is at play here, because under that fanaticism, it seems that they could easily justify to themselves the use of nuclear weapons, doesn't it?
Yes. Oh no, absolutely. Or blowing up the Alaska mosque. There are those within the I don't want to call them the ultra-Orthodox, because we got to distinguish. There are Orthodox Jews who believe that the creation of the state of Israel is a sin, that it can't come into being until the Messiah returns. So they don't really support this current version of Zionism. And that's why you'll see in New York City many times Hasidic Jews, the ones with the curls and the long coats and the beards, they'll be out protesting in favor of the Palestinians. So, that is, we've got to avoid sort of these simplistic labeling of Jew, not Jew, it's sort of a specific variant, this Zionist, whether or not they're religious or not, it doesn't matter, but they use Zionism as a justification for their actions. Yeah,
a really important point. That Zionism is not equivalent to Judaism, and also opposing the tenets of Zionism is not anti-Semitic,
Correct.
in the least. But you mentioned the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and it seems like that would be one of the next steps of escalation in order to provoke a very strong reaction from the Muslim world. Do you think that Israel or certain elements within Israel may be planning a false flag destruction of that?
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, I think very much so. You've seen it over the last 5 days. They have closed, the Israeli authorities have closed access to the Al-Aqsa Mosque for all Muslims at the end of Ramadan, and they closed the Church of the Holy Sepulchre to Christians. So, to my knowledge, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which is, the claim is it's built on the site where Jesus was crucified and buried. That's never been closed until now. The person that holds the key is the chief Muslim imam of Jerusalem. So the Muslims have always kept the key to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, in part because there are so many Christian sects that fight with each other over who has the right to lead there. They turn to an outsider, someone who's basically neutral.
Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, a lot of people suspect that they've closed it because they need to sort of twin towers the mosque.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. This is Israel's in a situation right now. They talk a good game. Trump is all over the map.
Yeah.
And it looks like, before we came on air, he claimed that he's now gotten message from Iran that they will not build a nuclear weapon. Well, that's been their position for the last, 46 years.
Right.
So, they've agreed to what they'd already agreed to. So if that's true, if that report is true, then this is, I take that as a sign that Trump's trying to figure a quick exit out of this war because the U.S. is losing.
Do you think Trump is actually communicating with any official in Iran that has? No. Okay.
No.
So look, is he getting bad intel or what's happening?
Yeah, he's just lying.
Oh, you think he's just fabricating this himself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems feasible.
Look, even when we were, quote, negotiating
liar, pants on fire.
We never had direct conversations. Witkoff would go and Jared Kushner would go to Geneva. They'd sit in one room. The Omani, the guy from Oman, the chief mediator, would come and talk to them. Then he'd go to the other room and talk to the Iranians. Then he'd come back and talk to Witkoff.
Right.
So there wasn't direct communication. So the notion that now there's direct communication, no, what's been happening is the United States in desperation because Trump either ignored the intelligence or there was an intelligence failure. I think it's the former, not the latter. They refused to take into account what the implications of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz is. And it is devastating.
Absolutely.
For the U.S. economy and most of the global economy. Ironically, Iran's doing pretty well out of this deal.
True.
Before the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, Iran was selling its oil at $47 per. They produced 1.1 million barrels a day. Now, they are producing 1.5 million barrels a day, so almost 500,000 more barrels per day, or 500,000 more barrels per day. And they're selling it at $97 a barrel, double the price.
Yeah.
So they are making now more money, and then on top of it, they're charging an exit fee for those vessels that want to get out of the Strait of Hormuz that will pay for their cargo in terms of Chinese yuan. And in the course of this, they have the payment system that used to go through the United Arab Emirates and could be controlled via the United States and the petrodollar. Now it's going through China through the yuan, and Iran is actually sort of out of the sanctions woodshed now.
Yeah, so effectively, the Strait of Hormuz is open selectively to vessels that have destinations approved by Iran and that are willing to, as I understand it, pay I guess it's $2 million.
Yeah.
Only a tiny fraction of the value of the cargo they're hauling, by the way.
Right. And it's paid in yuan too. So it's really forcing a shift from the petrodollar to, if you will, now the petro yuan.
Yeah. So Trump's the president that is collapsing Western control over the Persian Gulf, America's presence in the Persian Gulf in its military bases, as well as the viability of the petrodollar itself. It's like, but he announces that he's got 100% approval and he's winning. This doesn't look like winning. He
supposedly got 100% approval on MAGA, whatever that is.
Right. Whoever's left.
I vote. I'm ashamed to say I voted for Trump, and I regret my vote, which doesn't mean I would have voted for Kamala Harris. I would have, voted for probably would have voted for my dog. Trump has betrayed the American voter.
clearly.
He promised no new wars, and now he's got us embroiled in a war that we cannot win.
Yeah.
You don't win wars through air power.
So the pattern that Trump has been using with Iran is that he will announce progress, that we're close, we're negotiating, they've agreed to almost all our terms, and then he will surprise bomb them, assassinate them, attack them, usually in conjunction with Israel.
Right.
It seems to me that's exactly what's happening this week. Again.
No, you're exactly right, because and this is planned out in advance. This is not something that's just developed over the last couple of days. On March 12th, the United States started a massive movement via C-17 transports. These are the largest, they're up there with the C-5A. It's a large transport it can carry up to 204 combat-loaded soldiers or sailors or Marines. It can carry tanks. It can carry armored personnel carriers. It can carry artillery pieces. It can carry helicopters. So there have been a total of 35 flights as of yesterday, with 11 more scheduled for this week. And they're taking off from bases, locations that are associated with the Special Operations Forces, with Delta Force, SEAL Team 6, the Night Stalkers, Task Force 160, the helicopters, 75th Rangers out of Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington. There's also a Ranger battalion down in Georgia at the Hunter Army Airfield. So all of these forces are moving to, one of them's in Israel, two of them are in Jordan. So they've got 3 locations to pre-position. At some time this week, I think, try to move forward anyway, to Al Udeid Air Force Base. That would be, probably the prime location, but they may choose some other site. And from there, the intent, weather permitting, will be to launch, I think, a combined assault on Karg Island and Keshem Island in the south, in a bid to both take control of Iran's oil in the middle, in the Persian Gulf, and control of that island. Now, if they do that, despite all this happy talk about, we're making progress with Iran, Iran is just, they're going to go, I won't say nuclear, but they're going to escalate their attack to a point that our forces that are on Karg and Keshem, if that's the way we go, they'll be in jeopardy. These forces, they've only really got 2 ways of moving. They're going to move through the air on a helicopter, or some can move on a fixed-wing aircraft and parachute. But that's not the normal route while Delta and SEAL Team 6 are equipped to do that, that's not the optimal insertion.
And even if they survive that insertion, then they have to be resupplied.
Yeah, resupplied, and how do they get out?
How do they get out? And they're going to be taking, I would think, just endless drone attacks and artillery, because they're within range of Iran's artillery at that point.
Yeah. And so this would be a terrible, terrible decision. I'm sure it's been put forward to Trump as an option, but it sure looks like he's going to do it.
Is it possible? I mean, since you worked in the CIA, you know how information flows to the president, and sometimes it's blocked, well, often. But is Trump getting truly bad information? For example, I've heard Trump's people claim that U.S. forces are able to shoot down like 94% of incoming Iranian ballistic missiles and things, whereas Ted Postel says it's more like 5%.
Yeah, Ted's right.
Yeah.
Ted's right. They're wrong. They're lying. And the number, they don't have the numbers. Look, they're, as of end of December 2025, the maximum number of PAC-3 missiles for the Patriot that they could have had, in theory, 4,620. That means, because you have to use 2 of those missiles for every inbound ballistic missile, if you've got that 4,620, that means you can shoot down potentially 2,310 missiles. Well, Iran's already fired that, and we know that at least 1,000 of those PAC-3s were sent to Ukraine starting in 2023. And since 2023, Russia's fired more than 12,000 missiles. So there's just no way that the Patriot missile system is still intact. If it's not depleted already, it soon will be. Same applies to THAAD.
Israel really confirmed all of that today, because it seems like they lifted the censorship and suddenly they're playing victim and they're saying, oh, look, Iran hit, civilian buildings and we never attack civilians. We only attack military targets. And the rest of us are like, what? What?
Yeah, tell that to the 175 dead schoolgirls.
Well, yeah, exactly. Plus the exploding pagers, the assassination of Iranian scientists, the murders and slaughters in the West Bank, the bombing of even Christian churches in Gaza, on and on and on.
Yeah, I had not seen the news reports that the Israelis were out now lifting the veil. So that tells you how desperate the situation is.
Yeah, it was flooding my feed this morning on X. All of a sudden, you could tell somebody flipped a switch, and all of a sudden there's all these photos of the damage in Tel Aviv, and it is considerable, which proves your point, Larry, that the Iron Dome interceptors simply are not working.
Right. Yeah. No. Well, they've been the systems have been, number one, they have limited capability. Iron Dome would be good against some of the subsonic rockets that Hezbollah was firing before, or say Hamas.
Right.
But they're completely useless against the ballistic missiles, particularly the hypersonic ones.
I want to remind our audience of your website, sonar21.com, and it's Sons of what again?
Sons of the New American Revolution.
That's it. That's where Sonar comes from. Okay.
Yeah, 21st century. So I base that upon, I'm a member of the Sons of the American Revolution, because I have 28 ancestors that fought in that war. So, I come genetically predisposed to fight for liberty, to fight for freedom. And, that's what my ancestors sacrificed for. They didn't fight and die for this nonsense that we got going on right now with Donald Trump.
Isn't that the truth? Let's talk about the implications on our republic. This destruction of energy infrastructure, with all its downstream effects of blocking exports of helium and sulfur and sulfuric acid, not just natural gas. We're seeing New South Wales and Australia now declaring some kind of emergency and saying that they're going to have energy lockdowns. The Philippines just declared a national emergency based on fuel shortages today. They don't have enough diesel. Thailand has halted about half its shipping fleet. Taiwan is about to run out of gas that powers its grid, and Japan is in dire straits financially and industrially if this continues. I mean, the whole world's going to pay the price for Trump's arrogance, it seems.
Yeah, no. So the damage that's already inflicted is significant, it's substantial, and it's going to, it is going to last at least for the midterm, couple of years. The shutdown of the liquid natural gas, because Qatar was a major supplier of that, that's now about 25% of the world's supply gone, shut off, no longer available. The oil coming out of the Persian Gulf, about 21% of world consumption supply. And the ones who got the bulk of that were India, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Philippines, and Australia. Gone. There's no way to turn it back on quickly. And connected to that were let's call it the petrochemical side of the house, particularly with respect to the urea that is manufactured out of the natural gas to produce fertilizer. 35% of the world fertilizer supply comes out of Persian Gulf. Well, we are now in the planting season in the Northern Hemisphere. And I'd say close to 65% of the world landmass of arable land is north of that hemisphere. So if no fertilizer, no planting, no crops. So this means that there's 8 to 10 months from now, there's going to be a food crisis. And,
Engineered famine. Engineered famine.
An engineered famine, exactly right.
Let me add to that, too, that I think Russia has halted or banned all exports of fertilizer. China has halted all exports of both fertilizer and refined fuel products, including jet fuel, gasoline, diesel. Australia, which is a massive landmass, of course, not that Americans typically know that for some reason, but it's a continent. Australia depends on long distance trucking and airlines. Heavy transportation. That country's going to suffer first, it seems.
Yeah. So already you're seeing an economic contraction, which is that's negative economic growth. So I would argue, and once the statistics are collected, and they'll be able to apply the specific definition, if you've got 2 successive quarters of negative economic growth, then that's a recession. And if it's greater than 10%, that's a depression. So we're well into the recession territory among a number of countries. As I pointed out, Iran's actually doing okay out of this. Russia's doing great. Russia's making upwards of $5 billion a month of additional income now because of its oil, its liquid natural gas, and its fertilizer. But they're also, as they pointed out, we're going to take care of our farmers first, make sure they have enough fertilizer before we go out and try to sell it to the rest of the world.
See, that's what really concerns me, because a lot of the smaller nations, let's say Thailand or Indonesia, for example, or Central and South American nations, they depend heavily on inputs from these other larger nations.
Brazil in particular. Now, Brazil they got a bit of a respite, and they've got some time to figure this out because they're now starting to enter the winter season, so they're harvesting what was planted already. And so they're not going to be going back into an immediate planting season.
Right, and there's some amount of food in the supply chain right now, but I just saw Dow Chemical announced a doubling of its polyethylene prices.
All is well. All is well.
So, of course, we know that also is related to this entire scenario, but that means bottles, plastic bottles for food, beverages, vitamins, supplements, drums that are used to ship everything. All of this, polyethylene plastic is going to double in price, and that's just the beginning. So the supply chain is going to get way more expensive with increased scarcity globally.
Well, and already in the United States, diesel is up at least $2 a gallon.
That's right.
So the transportation cost for food, that's gone up. For every item you go in to buy at, say, Home Depot.
Shit, let me see. Gas around here up like $1.50. It was $3.59. And I looked one day. I looked again. It was $3.79 for regular. So let me at $2 real quick.
Or Lowe's or BJ or whatever your hardware store is. This is a particular type of inflation that can't be managed by strictly monetary policy. Normally with what you call monetary inflation, where you got too many dollars chasing a fixed number of goods, that's going to create inflation. But now, when you've got this amount of
King Ye, salute.
money out there, you've actually shrunk the supply, and there's no way to reinflate that supply anytime soon. You got a problem.
Yeah. Famine again. In your view, does Trump have any viable off-ramps that he would psychologically be willing to consider, given that he's an egotistical child? I mean, that's my opinion anyway.
I agree with you. Again, if the announcement that I heard earlier was true, that he was saying, okay, Iran has agreed not to build.
To me, it seems like they're setting up the excuse for price increase and then the empty shelves that's coming. That's my idea.
Build a nuclear weapon. We got an agreement.
Well, them my thoughts on it.
Well, it's like you had that agreement in the first place, but let's just go with that. So he could say, we got an agreement. They're not going to build a nuke. The United States has really already lifted sanctions on Iran, so Iran's no longer facing those sanctions.
Doesn't that just affect oil, though, right now?
Well, that was the principal sanctions on Iran.
Okay.
So, so they're sanction free of that. So the next step is if Donald Trump then says, because we've got this peaceful arrangement, we no longer need to have our massive military presence in the Gulf and pull them out so they can come back and do something productive for America. That's his offer. If he does that, that's his off ramp. I think Israel would agree, will stop, provided Israel stops. But if Israel doesn't stop, and if the United States doesn't take actions to stop Israel, Iran's just going to continue hammering them.
Well, and hasn't Iran said that they're going to continue this war until Israel is destroyed? And hasn't Israel said basically the same thing about Iran?
Yeah. This has been, Iran has been unfairly and unjustly demonized over the years by the West, particularly in the United States. We don't take responsibility for anything that we've done. Example, you'll hear people say, well, what, Iran chants death to America. What have we done to them?
Yeah, the price is up, but I think they setting the stage for when them shelves are empty versus prices being up.
Well, where do we begin? Right.
Yeah. So let's start September 1980. Yeah, Iran's students are holding.
It's COVID 2.0. You dig?
American diplomats hostage, CIA personnel hostage, and the United States, with a wink, and a nudge, and a pat on the back, gets Saddam Hussein to attack Iran. So the Iran-Iraq War starts in September of 1980. Enter Ronald Reagan, and Reagan gets the hostages back. It was the parallel that you talked about earlier. And then Don Rumsfeld goes and starts meeting with Saddam Hussein. And guess what? We start selling Saddam Hussein precursor chemicals that are used to make chemical weapons.
Yes.
And in August of 1983, Iraq launches its first chemical weapons attack on Iran and launches 20 more weapon of mass destruction attacks on Iran, chemical weapons, the last one stopping in August of 1988. Well, during that entire time, Iran never built or used a chemical weapon against Iraq. Never. But because of that war,
T. Cortez was backing. Okay, so aside from people hoarding things, you set the stage to where you say it's fertilizer. It's going to be a fertilizer shortage. So the crops that are getting planted now is going to have a much lower yield. So after the next harvest is when you're going to see them empty shells popping up, because they set the stage to where, they setting a famine up. I'm just saying.
Over 300,000 Iranians died. Well, you look how upset we get over the 4,000, less than 4,000 Americans who died on 9/11, and we get upset at the Muslims over that. Well, it's understandable why Iran chants death to America. And in fact, during the last 2 years of that war, prior to that, the CIA was hand-carrying intelligence to Iraq to use against Iran. And then it was that job was transferred to a former defense attaché to Saudi Arabia and to Yemen, a colonel named Pat Lang. Pat was a mentor of mine and a friend. He died a couple of years ago. So, here's the United States, who basically helped provoke that war, funded that war, helped it go on, and killed 300,000 Iranians. So when Iran chants death to America, I understand.
Well,
I understand.
And plus the decades of economic sanctions that had,
Right.
And also don't forget Scott Bessent admitting that it was a financial terrorism committed by the United States against Iran to destroy their currency. I mean, he openly admitted it. That's an act of war or terrorism.
Yep. Or the U.S. continued support for the Mujahideen Khalq, MEK. They were designated as a foreign terrorist organization in 1997. That designation was lifted by Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama in 2012. Why? Because the CIA was using the MEK to launch terror attacks inside Iran. So, the United States is a state sponsor of terrorism.
Absolutely. There's no question about that. But let me ask you this. Let's shift slightly.
Yeah, you motherfuckers been terrorizing us right here at home.
If Trump says we have an agreement with Iran, even if he fabricates it, and thus we can, remove our military from the area, that doesn't resolve the Strait of Hormuz, that, of course, Iran maintains control over the Strait and can selectively allow certain ships to pass through and not others. But also, I think more importantly, from the U.S. State Department point of view, the U.S. presence in that area is now gone. I mean, the Fifth Fleet headquarters, the bases in Kuwait, Iraq. Look, we practically evacuated the military bases in Iraq at this point, and the future of the U.S. in that region seems to be gone at this point. What's your take on that?
Yeah, no, it's the face of the Middle East is now being remade. Let's be clear. Iran is the only country in the Gulf, around the Persian Gulf, with the exception of Iraq, that has a government that's been elected by the people. The government of President Pezeshkian, the Ayatollah is not elected by the people. In accordance with it is an Islamic republic. Nonetheless, there still is an element of democracy there. And one of the real ironies, I learned this the other day from a new friend, Yakov Rapkin, a professor. Yakov has written extensively on Zionism. He's a Canadian now, resides in Canada, but he was born in Leningrad right after World War II, which is now called St. Petersburg. And he recounted his experience of going to Tehran and visiting the Jewish quarter. And this group of Jews, Iranian Jews, they've been there for they count their ancestors back for almost 3,000 years.
Whoa!
Think about that.
Yeah.
After 2,600 years. Whenever the Babylonian captivity took place, and the Jews were carried off from Israel back to Babylon, that's where they set down their first roots. And in talking to them, they noted that their children are required by Iranian law to have a religious education at school. I don't know if it's like once a day or once a week, but they're not, the religious education that their children get is Judaism. Because they identify as Jews, they are allowed to be taught Jewish religious tradition. Same for Christians. So the Muslims get taught Islam, Christians get taught Christianity, and the Jews get taught Judaism. How about that? It doesn't fit with our narrative.
Yeah, exactly. And I watched you for years commenting on the Ukraine-Russia war as well. And of course, most of that took place under Biden. And we watched as the Biden administration just flat out lied to America constantly about the success of the West and the effectiveness of Western weapons. Oh, we're going to send the tanks and it's going to change everything. We're going to use the HIMARS. It's going to change everything. And now that exact same tactic is being used by the Trump administration. It's just like Biden 2.0 or Obama 2.0 almost at this point. Why has Trump resorted to the same outrageous and obvious lies that Biden used, claiming that none of our planes are shot down, they all have maintenance issues?
Yeah.
The USS Ford.
I'm just saying, let's not be naive. The same people running this play is the same people that injected billions of people with an experimental death shot. Estimated over 1 million people in the U.S. have passed away from it. I think the number's much higher. I don't think they reporting that truthfully, but these are the same people. So let's not get naive about this shit.
You know, out of commission now for 14 months. Oh, it's a laundry room fire. Okay, well, that's a bad laundry room fire.
Yeah. Yeah, this Andrei Martyanov put out he commented on a video the other day with respect to the Ford, comparing it to the USS Forrestal, Vietnam era carrier that John McCain, through a negligent discharge of a missile, almost blew the ship up, caught on fire. It took the crew 19 hours.
That sound good, Nunya, but look around. Who all in the government? Who all in the bunch of immigrants? It sound good, but I think they've already ran that play. Now they, trying to put the finishing touches on the Reconstruction era. I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
Put the fire out, and it actually killed, I would say, like 19 sailors and injured 100 more. After that, they had to get McCain off the ship because he probably would have been killed by some of the sailors.
Okay, even if there wasn't a first death shot, okay. You further proving my point. Let's not be naive about the evil deeds of these fucking demons.
Blamed him for what happened. But the point was that it took him 19 hours to build a combat accident, get that under control. So what the hell happened in a laundry room? It took them 30 hours to contain the fire. There's more to this story than we're being told.
Clearly.
It's like the shoot down the other day of the F-35. What happened was the heat-seeking missile got close enough to the plane, and the plane shot off let's call it a flare or a magnesium piece that burns to try to distract or divert the missile, and the missile exploded, and the shrapnel from the missile hit the F-35, damaged its wing and its tail, and so that's what happened there. It wasn't a direct hit, but it was close enough that it damaged it beyond repair.
But if the USS Ford, which is I believe the most expensive ship ever built, something like $13 billion.
It's like $15 billion, but hey, what's a couple of $1 billion among friends, right?
Well, they're going to probably have to add another couple billion for the repairs now.
Yeah.
And it's out of commission for 14 months. Doesn't it just prove, and plus the F-35 incident and all of the F-16s that have been lost, and remember the couple of the F-18s in the Red Sea that they said rolled off the edge of, was it the Abraham Lincoln at that time?
Yeah, one rolled off, one was hit by friendly fire, one, it's not clear what happened.
Right, but if this is the case, and none of this is occurring from enemy fire, then it's just proving that our modern military is utterly incompetent.
Well, I'm not sure incompetent is the correct word. I mean, there is definitely some of that, but we have a military that's not designed for the 21st century. We've relied on very expensive technology instead of inexpensive technology. So we're now at the stage where each of the PAC-3 missiles that's on a Patriot missile battery, when you fire, you've got an inbound drone, a geranium drone. It's one that looks like the giant triangle. You fire those two Patriot missiles. Each one costs, I've heard different estimates, $4 million, $6 million. Let's go with the $6 million. So you're firing $12 million worth of missiles at a drone that costs $50,000. Well, you can't afford to keep doing that. You just run out of money. The aircraft carrier, $15 billion for an aircraft carrier. It took 6 years to build, and then it can be quickly disabled by somebody throwing a shirt in the toilet, or somebody lighting the dryer on fire or getting hit with a hypersonic missile.
Right.
So these are weapon systems that no longer make sense because the technology that has taken place with respect to drones and missiles, particularly hypersonic missiles. The aircraft carrier has really it outlived its time. Its arrival in the 1930s, when just as aviation was starting to get its legs underneath it, it became the primary vehicle that you could deliver airplanes far away, because the airplanes had a limited flight range, but now you could take them to the spot, they could fly off. Well, that no longer works like with Iran, because if you bring like an F-35B jet that's on an aircraft carrier, it's got like a 600-mile combat radius. Now that means it can fly 600 miles and it has to be refueled. Or, it can fly 300 miles out and then 300 miles back without refueling. So if you get close to the Iran's southern coast, then all of a sudden that ship, as happened to the Abraham Lincoln, can get shot at with a shorter ship missile that can destroy the carrier. So, or if a hypersonic missile. So they have to get far enough away, and the farther away you get, the less effective is that air capability that you're carrying.
Right. So what you're describing is an obsolete approach to the projection of power from the Navy. Now, so my follow-up question to you on this, Larry, is that if Trump walks away from this Middle East situation without controlling the Strait of Hormuz, which seems almost impossible to achieve at this point, but if he announces victory, sails away, pulls our military forces out of the area, even if he can fool the American people to say we won, doesn't the rest of the world look at this and say, wow, America is no longer the biggest bully on the playground. They can't make good on their threats.
Yeah, no, exactly right. One other thing, one other dynamic that will enter into this is Iran could agree, say, okay, listen, we'll lift the blockade on the Strait of Hormuz. They'll tell this to Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait, Iraq, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, tell it to all of them. But you guys got to get rid of the American bases. If you continue to keep American bases in your country, then we're going to not let your ships pass through the strait. That's simple. And I think that they could probably win that argument.
Well, wouldn't they also win the argument that ships need to pay a toll as a means of reparations against Iran, and that once the reparations are paid off, then the toll goes away? I mean,
yeah, they're going to demand that. I'm not sure they're going to find a solution there. Particularly if they can get a commitment that there will be no more attacks, and in fact, one way to provide that security is to get a military pledge that from Iran and Russia that in the event that you are attacked, we will view it as an attack on us.
Oh.
So that I think would give Iran enough assurance that, okay, we're good. Because they know that then the other countries, Israel, United States, if you're gonna hit Iran, you're gonna be hitting Russia and China. Are you ready for a nuclear exchange?
So like a Eastern Article 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not sure Russia would want to go that far.
No, I think they would. I think they would.
You think so?
Yeah, because what they want is to get that north-south economic corridor open, and they don't want Iran anymore to be threatened. And so Israel, I think Russia would be willing to do that.
So then can you walk us forward then? Suppose this does get resolved in the manner that you just mentioned. There's a mutual defense pact between Iran and Russia. There's relative peace. The Strait is reopened. Energy starts to flow again within a few weeks. What does the world look like for America's future and America's leverage?
Live and learn. What's vacant?
In the world from that point forward.
Dramatically weakened. At that point, the United States dominance in the Persian Gulf is going to go away. Now, look, let's recognize these Gulf Arab states. Let's call them family-run crime. Or it's a form of organized crime within families. The royal family in Saudi Arabia, etc. They all like to be shake this, shake that. But they don't have any foundation of popular support.
Because they tell you what they're doing. You just got to listen. You know what I'm talking about?
And I think if you realize that something like 90%, particularly in United Arab Emirates, of the population are foreigners, not Emiratis, and they are going to be compelled. They've got to do something, or they're going to die, economically die, and I don't mean some far off date in the future. Literally, with no ships coming in bearing food, they're going to run out of food. They don't have their own agricultural systems in these countries to sustain growth.
Right, or water,
yeah.
If the desalination gets hit. Right.
Yes. So they've been pretty careful now of late about what they're doing to Iran, and Iran is now over the last couple of days shifted its attacks more and more towards Israel.
Yeah. Okay, well, isn't that because they've already destroyed most of the military bases in the region?
Well, true. Yeah, they've been hit and severely damaged. I'm not sure to what extent there are people, Americans still, troops standing there or not. We'll see.
Okay, in your best guess, Larry, for how much longer can Iran keep up this continued launching of these missiles?
Oh, at least 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, is anything left standing in Israel? I mean, in 6 months,
No.
Because the Haifa oil refinery, I understand, was hit hard, maybe destroyed.
Yeah, I think at this point, Iran's going to focus on taking out the port and taking out the military airfields. They're going to stay away from civilian areas, and they're going to stay away from hospitals and schools. Okay,
but infrastructure would be considered, like power plants would be considered.
They've stayed away from the power plant too, because they say, look, we're not going to deprive people of power unless you deprive us of power. You deprive us of power, then you're going to suffer the same fate.
Okay, let's talk about Qatar Energy for a moment, because they have 14 natural gas trains there. 2 of them have been destroyed with a 3 to 5 year repair time, according to their own official announcement. That leaves 12 trains, which, of course, to our audience, those aren't really trains. Those are processing facilities. So there's 12 left. If those 12 get destroyed, then the world collapses as we know it, and there's a 10 to 15 year repair time. Larry, do you think that these 12 trains are going to survive whatever happens next?
Yeah, for now. Again, it depends on, is there going to be an attack against Iran's resources? So Iran's doing very much sort of a tit for tat, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. So you hit our natural gas, we'll hit your natural gas. You hit our oil, we'll hit your oil. You hit our nuclear plant, we'll hit your nuclear plant.
But Israel has promised to continue bombing Iran. Couldn't Iran's retaliations include Qatar's natural gas fields? I mean, it's a 3-party scenario where the one party, Israel, is just completely out of control, doing whatever they want.
Yeah, potentially. It depends on what Israel bombs.
Yeah.
But that's why I say there can be some transfer, if you will, of violence to Qatar based upon what Israel does.
Right, that's a good term for it, transfer of violence. Tell our audience about your website, sonar21.com.
Sonar20.com. It's a blog I try to write daily, post articles. People can comment. I don't have a rigid policy of you have to meet my ideological test. You can disagree with me all you want. Just I don't accept insults and ad hominem attacks. That'll get you tossed. But and I try to let people have a polite discussion, but oftentimes, people get all heated and emotions take over.
And I want to remind our audience that you have a support us button on your website right here, different ways to support you. Because one of the questions I've had over the years is, how do you fund what you do? I mean, it's not lucrative telling the truth these days.
Right. Yeah, I've in the past I've suffered financially. Now this helps defray costs, but I made a decision not to do advertising and not to require people to donate in order to read. Now I am going to be making an adjustment to my website so that in the future, the same thing apply. I have a Substack, Son of the New American Revolution, on Substack, and there, if you want to comment, you have to become a financial contributor. Not much, it'd be like, to say, $12 a year. So $12 a year, you can comment at will, but everybody can read. So.
Well, that makes sense, and that also helps filter out the trolls and bots.
Yeah,
which is a good mechanism. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. As we're getting close to the end of our hour here, and again, I want to thank you for taking the time with us. What have we not covered that you think our audience needs to be?
For indeed attack that's going to take place this weekend.
Okay.
At this point, the U.S. military forces that have moved into position and are still moving indicate that there is going to be a massive, likely coordinated attack. I think it'll be on two targets, the Karg Island and Keshem Island. Those are the only ones that make sense, simply because it's not just to inflict damage on Iran. And some have said that there's they're going to put troops down at Chabahar, a port down on the Indian Ocean, Arabian Sea. Well, why? Because you're down there. That's not going to do a thing to open up the Strait of Hormuz, and that's just going to make you another target for missiles and drones.
Yeah, but isn't Karg also very far from the Strait?
Yeah, it's up in the northwest corner of the Persian Gulf, or excuse me, the northeast corner of the Persian Gulf, just off the shore of Iran, well within reach of artillery shells.
Right.
So
if they take Karg, it's just holding the oil infrastructure hostage, but not really opening the strait, right?
Correct. That would be the Keshem Island, which is down in the strait. But all of this sort of assumes that Iran's not going to be able to respond with missiles and drones and inflict damage on our occupying forces. And I think that's exactly wrong. And it assumes that we're going to be able to put ships in there that the Iranians won't be able to hit. I think that's wrong. But if Trump goes forward with this, then we'll be looking at, I think, the equivalent of Gallipoli for the United States, a virtual massacre of our forces.
But to land troops on Karg, wouldn't that require the troop transport ships to sail through the strait?
No, not if they're brought in by helicopter.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, if they're inserted via helicopter, or the SEALs supposedly could always swim there, but they'd be pretty tired. So no, I think they've got an insertion plan with helicopters. Again, it's assuming that the air defense has been suppressed and that they're not going to shoot down the helicopters. But again, I think that may be a dangerous assumption.
So what lie are we going to be told when thousands of U.S. Marines and Special Forces are killed? Are we going to be told they all died in traffic accidents or something?
They'll come out and say, Iran once again rejected our offers of peace and insisted that they want to build a nuke, and therefore we had no alternative but to launch this attack. And again, when that attack is launched,
I don't know.
And that's why they'll do it Friday night after the markets are closed. It's gonna light up the oil markets big time. And so Trump has been able to talk it down, at least the early part of this week, by claiming, things are looking up. But I think he's doing that to deliberately manipulate the market.
Yeah, I've said Trump had a Jekyll and Hyde approach to his personalities. There's weekday Trump, where everything's great, negotiations are working, the markets are calm, and then there's weekend Trump, where it's like bomb and kill and destroy everything, and then he hopes that they can recover before the markets open on Monday again.
Right.
It's the same pattern. He's become very predictable now.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's why when he announced yesterday 5 days, I said, why 5 days? Oh, day 5 is when the 31st Mu is supposed to arrive in the Arabian Sea, be off the coast of Iran. Now the question is, how close is that ship going to get?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, one more question for you, Larry. As a former CIA analyst yourself, what do you think the CIA is telling the president right now?
If we're to believe the press reports, they warned him that it was not wise to carry out this military strike, that the Iranian regime would remain intact, and that the Strait of Hormuz would be closed and would cause economic damage.
And you think that their conclusion is reasoned and rational on those points, and that the president's people are just choosing to reject that information?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's simple.
Well, I don't think you become a CIA analyst by being a low IQ person. Yeah, right? I mean, you have to know what you're doing.
Yeah, you're supposed to. I like to do puzzles, and I can figure out how to do addition and subtraction. It shouldn't be that complicated.
Okay. All right. Well said. Well, Larry, thank you so much for your time today. It's always an honor speaking with you. We appreciate you and all that you're doing.
Hey, Mike, a pleasure. Look forward to doing it again with you.
All right, bud. Appreciate the info. Now, I'm finna run some of this live and learn real quick. Oh, dance flow, huh?
It's that time, ain't it? It's that time, ain't it? It's that time, ain't it? Don't stop. Y'all don't miss 1995, 95, huh? Y'all ain't ready to feel good. What y'all doing? What y'all doing? What y'all doing? Get ready to do your best dance. Ain't no time for no mugging. Let's go. Let's go. Calling everybody to put on the dance floor. Where you at now? Turn it to a dance floor. Rhythm and vibe should make you on the dance floor. If you ain't dancing, put up your hands low. Turn it to a dance floor. Put on the dance floor. Turn it to a dance floor. Put on the dance floor. Turn it to a dance floor. Dance floor. If you ain't dancing, put up your hands low. Y'all run to the dance floor real quick. This a vibe. I know y'all gotta feel this. This a vibe. I know y'all gotta feel this. Y'all run to the real quick. Get down, get down, get down. When it's on, no you can't sit down. It's okay. I know that they look getting good, but you can't go out like a rookie. They know we still just get saw the opportunity and took it. Hands up, bounce with it. You can just tap your feet or bop with it. You could be at work, you gotta get it. You could be at the club or block with it. You could be at the club or block with it. You could be cool or be hot with it. Calling everybody to put on the dance floor. Where you at now? Turn it to a dance floor. Rhythm and vibe should make you on the dance floor. If you ain't dancing, put up your hands though. Turn it to a dance floor. Put on the dance floor. Dance floor. Put on the dance floor. Turn it to a dance floor. Put on the dance floor. If you ain't dancing, put up your hands though. Ooh, you feeling go? What? Where you at on the wall? What? Sit down. Get on that. Go. Yeah, let's go, 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 yo, thing, don't stop, 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 keep it hot, 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 yeah, calling everybody to put on the dance floor. Where you at now? Turn it to a dance floor. Rhythm and vibe should make you on the dance floor. If you ain't dancing, put up your hands low. Turn it to a dance floor. Put on the dance floor. Turn it to a dance floor. Put on the dance floor. Turn it to a dance floor. Put on the dance floor. If you ain't dancing, put up your hands low. Calling everybody to put on the dance floor. Where you at now? Turn it to a dance floor. Rhythm and vibe should make you on the dance floor. If you ain't dancing, put up your hands low. Turn it to a dance floor. Put on the show. Turn it to a dance floor. Put on the dance floor. Turn it to a dance floor. Put on the dance floor. If you ain't dancing, put up your hands low. Turn it to a dance floor. And this ain't gonna never stop. Y'all can believe that. Y'all can believe that. Y'all can believe that. Y'all can believe that.
Yay! Yes, sir. That shit be slapping though. That shit get you moving, won't it though? Ain't no cap. Oh shit, what we got? What you got up here, TP? I see some nooskies. Hold on, do I see some nooskies? Where they go?
The party is mine. That's the
You need to get out and vote today.
The party is mine. I don't pledge to a brand, red ties, blue lies, same blood on their hands. They sell hope in the slogan. Trade fear for a vote then. Ghosts when the cameras cut the mics in the smoke. Lobbyist tongues got a choke hold tight. Bought pens, signed laws in the dead of the night. They scream pick a side, trying to split the block while our rent keep rising and wages don't talk. Pledge allegiance to donors, not the people in line. We're a check box, harvest every 4-year grind. They promise roads paved with a future so bright. They fund another war while the schools lose lights. Neither party is mine. Jackass or the elephant eye. Two wings of the same bird, circling power and law. Left pocket, right pocket, both all in mine. I don't drink red or blue, I sip truth with my spine. They arguing colors while they auction our choice. Sold to the highest bidders, then they silence our voice. They parade like saviors, wave flags in our face while trade our pensions for a seat in a place. Healthcare or a hustle, education a fee. Prisons close timing like it's GDP. They put neighbor against neighbor, keep our culture at war. Making sure nobody's watching when they kick in the door. Yeah. Freedom gets branded, the truth gets spun. We get hashtags and thoughts, they get stacks in a gun. Debate sounds tough, but the policy's thin. They shadow box ghosts while the core cashes in. Neither party is mine. I don't pledge to a brand, red ties, blue lies, same blood on their hands. They sell hope in the slogan. Trade fear for a vote then. Ghosts when the cameras cut the mics in the smoke. Lobbyist tongues got a choke hold tight. Bought pens, signed laws in the dead of the night. They scream pick a side, trying to split the block while our rent keep rising and wages don't talk. Pledge allegiance to donors, not the people in line. We're a check box, harvest every 4-year grind. Neither party is mine.
Neither party is mine. That's the jackass.
Let me see what else I can jam real quick before I shut this down for this afternoon. Yeah, I know I got echoes going crazy around here. Hold on, man. Cut that out. Let me run it back off Mayday. Let me piggyback off Mayday with the red, blue, and the purple ties. Yes, sir.
Verbal ties maneuver through the sending hole. Pocket stuffers back on deals and dirty gold. Promises fold quicker than a house of cards. While the city bleeds out in the boulevard. Caviar, dream, champagne in their veins. But the people eat struggle, wash it down with pain. They preach trust me, but their words all in vain. Riding at the core, selling futures away. Corrupted heathens in their purple ties scream. Siphon your soul while you're fast asleep. They grin, they spend their sleepwalkers, then keep the loot. Bow down and kiss the feet of men in the black suits. Golden pen signing away broken nose. Campaigns funded by the devil in a gold. City lights, dim streets, cracking in despair. They build their mansions, we're gasping for air. Puppeteers pull strings, marionette smiles. Fake handshakes stretching miles and miles. The courtroom's a circus, perp the purple ties. Justice both cheap, true, buried in lies. Red or blue, same venomous brew. Very poisonous, that purple stew. I told you about the evil that men do. Divide the flock, keep the wolves in view. Paper trails burn, evidence erased. You can see the ruins all over the place. They toast to the power, a bit of disgrace. Rise from the ruins, this is your space. Suit sharp, smile, plastic can't shake venom. Pocket stuff, promises can't even defend them. Grease on the gears, the machine stay churning. Every vote cast, another bridge keeps burning. Snake in a purple tie, hissing through the lobby. Behind closed doors, dirty deals is a hobby. Campaign funds, I've been truth gon' miss. And the louder they talk, the less we listen. Put it on the strings, corporations pull tight. Whispered in the dark, but it echoes in the light. Golden tongue with a fork, but the words all hollow. Lead the people blind, make them beg, then follow. Red or blue, same venomous brew. Very poisonous, that purple stew. Told you about the evil that men do. Divide a flock, keep the wolves in view. Paper trails burn, evidence erased. You can see the ruins all over the place. They toast to the power, a bit of disgrace. Rise from the ruins, this is your space. Corrupted heathens in their purple ties scream. Stopping your soul while you're fast asleep. They grin, they spin their sleepwalkers and keep the loot. Bow down and kiss the feet of men in the black suit.
All right, let me give y'all one more. Leave you on a positive note. Some nation building 101. You dig?
It's that blueprint talk. Family first. Nation rise. Strong mama in the kitchen, head wrap, stand tall. Stretch a little pot, feed five, that's y'all. Turn a food stamp line to a game plan. Scribble, baby, read that sign. Sound it out, break the riddle. Early in the morning, she up, eyes red. Packing little lunch, still making up the bed. Do your homework first, then you grab that phone. She the first safe place that the baby's ever known. Bills on the table, stress in the air, but she still find time just to braid up hair. Straight A's on the fridge, that's a crown on display. She say focus now, shine later, that's the way. Nation building 101. Start at home, strong mothers, focus kids. Mind stay grown, strong fathers, balance hands. Heart stay strong, get the family right. Watch the whole hood come along. Nation building 101. Brick by brick. Teach love, teach law, teach my. We don't beg for a throne, we just claim that seat. One house, one block, one nation on his feet, on his feet. Strong mama at the desk, late night class notes. Studying for nursing while she zip up coats. Baby at the table doing math, same grind. 2 generations locked on the same climb. She don't let them hide from the books, no slack. Check every answer, then you run it right back. Turn cartoons off, let a doc film play. Know where you from, then you know what to say. She clap for each win, still correcting each flaw. Teach them how to think, how to question every law. She don't raise little followers, she raising up a team. Every focus child start at somebody's nation building 101. Start at home, strong mothers, focus kids hit. Mind stay grown, strong fathers, balance hand. Heart stay strong, get the family right. Watch the whole hood come along. Nation building 101. Brick by brick, teach love, teach law, teach mind over quick. We don't beg for a throne, we just claim that seat. One house, one block, one nation on his feet, on his feet. Strong daddy in the driveway, grease on his palms. Teaching little man how to tighten the moms. Hold that light steady, keep your word like that, yeah. Discipline with patience, never swing off cap. He correct, then he hug, that's the real backbone. Show a daughter how a king act, calm tone. Look him in the eyes when you speak, stand firm. Every choice got a cost, every loss gotta learn. He at every game, on the front bleacher. Then at night, open books, he a home teacher. Balanced in the spirit, he ain't ruled by rage. He just set clear lines like bars on a page. Nation building 101, start at home. Strong mothers, focus kids. Mind stay grown, strong fathers balancing. Heart stay strong, get the family right. Watch the whole hood come along. Nation building 101, brick by brick. Teach love, teach law, teach mind over quick. We don't beg for a throne, we just claim that seat. One house, one block, one nation on his feet, on his feet, on his feet. On his feet. On his feet. On his feet. Teach love.
Skills on my skin, go green, I'm awake. Smoke in my lungs, whole world on my plate. Praying I fall like a shark in my fangs. Dame ring bells like a war horn bang. Fire, breathing dragon, watch me light that sky up. Legend in the canyon, every step that ground erupt. They talk big, they vanish on the myth they can't touch. Fire, breathing dragon, say my name, that's bad luck. Blood on my claw, I don't beg, I claim. Walk through a storm, got a trail of flame. Castle on the cliff and my mark in stone. Every king in the book, just a stepping stone. Ash on my wings, still I rise, still I glide. They hide in the crowd, I run mountain sides. Whole map mind, see the edges curve. Took one deep breath, change the world. Fire, breathing dragon, watch me light that sky up. Legend in the canyon, every step they ground erupt. They talk big, they vanish. I'm the myth they can't touch. Fire, breathing dragon, say my name, that's bad luck. Plate full of trophies and metal and heaps. Didn't buy one, every one I keep. Came from the dark with a break, don't go. Turn that fear to a burning glow. They write my story, can't spell my rage. Every bar carved like a claw through a page. You chase trends, I chase horizons. You see smoke, I see my island. Ooh, I'm war with a living quake. Heart too hot, make the rivers bake. You hear that roar when the cloud bank shakes. That's my hunger, that's your mistake. Fire, breathing dragon, watch me light the sky up. Legend in the canyon, every step that ground erupt. They talk big, they vanish. Some of them make for bait, can't touch. Fire, breathing dragon, say my name, that's bad luck. Bad luck, bad luck, bad luck, bad luck.
You know I ain't got no sense. You know I ain't got no sense. What up, Strait Smoke? What's the word? I'm finna get back to this restaurant. Unify or die. We gonna call out your American genocide. You dig? And I peeped your next play. You want to empty the shells and blame it on some other shit. And what that's going to do to some poverty-stricken areas, mainly urban areas. I doubt they'll have a major problem in the suburbs. I just be, you know, I be on some other shit, man. All right, one more, then I'm gone for real.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Man, let's go on the track. They flood the block with sugar. Yeah. Call it love in a bright red can. Y'all just say pressure too high, my brother. But the corner got a 2-for-1 plan. They lace off school with the sirens. Those cameras on the keys. Guidance counselor juggling 30 broken storms. Meanwhile, Greasers beating on beats. Let's have the spear on the radio. Things ain't dead screw. Tell a young empress she only worth for sake. Tell a young king he only worth for good.
Yo, I just played that, TP. I just saw that. I said, hold on, I played it. And then I piggybacked off of it with the I Spy Purple Tie song and shit. Yeah. Yep, I just peeped it. I like that shit.
There's a math in the background ledger. Every life just a line of squeeze. Target market stamped on our faces. Low map mark, take what you please. Poison pushers in designer suits. Smile while with that clean white teeth. The mind schemes in the ballroom. Hoes on our babies in the balance sheets. American genocide. They dress it up nice. New war, new deals ain't nice. We numbers, we ain't your price. We callin' out your American genocide. We callin' out your American genocide. We callin' out genocide. They turned our hunting to a slogan. Dollar man, you right by the church. Ashy playground, broken swing, say liquor store shining on every purse. They cut the bus line to blame us. When we late, when we can't clock in. Boss man, talk on my personal feelings. It's cause I broke the law, we drowning in. They call it church when they poison water. Call it order when they flood our streets. Symbol guns with books are missing in. That's why we fight just to eat. They buy a coach and sell it back. Hollow paint our plane, that's a fashion trend. But the zip codes with the softest source to decide how I score in. Poison pushers in design suits. Swear out with they clean white teeth. The money schemes in the ballroom. On our babies in the balance sheets. American genocide. They dress it on nice. Do all new pills ain't nice. We know we ain't your right. We callin' out your American genocide. We callin' out your American genocide. We callin' out your American genocide. We know it's hard. My grandma kept the mirth in the kitchen, quiet praise over pipes and plans. She said, baby, read every label, they ain't feeding you. They feeding their plan. You playing greens in the cracks of the concrete. Teach our sons how to bring out boats. Tell our daughters they crowns ain't class, cause they much more fire than me and you post. We study law like we study scripture. Court days, some go like holidays. It's they wage war on the way that we leave. We wage love in 1,000 ways. From the march to the PTA meeting, from the cipher to the pastor mic. We 99s, we trace they money, try the shadows in the light. Boys and pushers in the sign suits. Smile while wear that clean white team. The money schemes in the ballroom. Tell our babies in the balance sheets. American genocide. They dress it on nice. New war, new kills ain't nice. We know ain't your body. We callin' out your American genocide. We callin' out your American genocide. We callin' out your American genocide. We livin' through just America. We living through this American genocide.
All right, y'all. About to get up out of here, go handle this business. I'm gonna try to tune. You got a live schedule for what, like 7? The enemy's public. I'm gonna try to tune in. I think it's scheduled for what, 7, something like that, 7:05 or somewhere around there. You be picking up odd times. You keep calling out the American genocide. Everybody know when I say American, who I mean. There's only one American. Like Bamboo say. I'm not finna play with y'all. 8? That's Eastern or 8 Eastern? Yeah, that's East Coast time. So that'd be 7 here, right? I think that's what it said on Facebook. I mean on YouTube when I saw it. Either way, I'm gonna look for the notification. I'm gonna get at y'all, man. Old dude out. Before I do that, hold on. Let me Shout out to the enemy's public. None your business. Straight smoke. Live and learn. Yay the quick. Sliding through. Tanya, Lloyd for sliding through. Who else came in? Anybody else came in here during this Trump debacle session? I think that's about it. T. Cortez, I ain't gonna forget you. I see you. Yeah, I think that'll about do it. That'll about do it. All right, y'all. I'm finna get up out of here. Enjoy the rest of your day. Keep your head on the swivel. You know, Negro time, huh? Yo, it's late. All right, man. I'm going. I said none. You give